This man's story became the inspiration for a billion-dollar film franchise. In Norristown, Pennsylvania, on the 14th of March 1887, a man known locally as A.J. Brown awoke to what he thought was a gunshot. He felt sluggish, dopey, and completely disoriented. He got up and he ran down a set of stairs that he found. He's completely confused about where he was when a lady named Mrs. Whitcomb, she called out to him saying, "AJ, what's going on? Why all the ruckus so early?" He rushes over to her and he says, "Who the hell is AJ? My name is Ansell Bourne. I have a wife and 5 kids. What the hell have you people done to me?" So Mrs. Whitcomb is completely terrified by him and confused. She says, "No, your name is AJ Brown. You live here. We're literally standing in your general store right now." So this man, now convinced that he's been drugged and kidnapped, he races out of the store and he heads for the police station. The police sit down and they interview him and they actually recognize him as AJ Brown, the friendly general store owner. They say to him, "AJ, have you been drinking or have you hit your head or something?" And he replies, "I am not AJ. I don't know who AJ is. My name is Ansell Bourne. I am from Greene, Rhode Island. I have a wife and 5 kids. Ask around up there. I'm sure there are people looking for me." So the police, they actually do this, and to their astonishment, they find that there are actually missing persons reports filed for one Ansell Bourne from Greene, Rhode Island. So soon after, this man is reunited with his family, and a famous psychiatrist known as Professor William James catches wind of the case. One day, back in January of that year, Ansell had actually kissed his wife and kids goodbye, and he said, "I'll be back in a few hours. I'm going to the bank." But he never actually went to the bank. Instead, Ansell Bourne, he boarded a train, he traveled nearly 480 kilometers or 300 miles. He arrived in Norristown, Pennsylvania, where he introduced himself as AJ Brown, using the money that he'd taken. He rented a room, he bought a small general store, and for the next 2 months, he lived a completely ordinary life under a different name. And then one morning, he woke up, his AJ Brown identity was completely gone. Later, under hypnosis, Professor James would discover something terrifying. When Ansell disappeared, AJ Brown took over with his own memories, his own personality, and his own life. This became the first ever documented case of dissociative fugue, F-U-G-U-E. And over 90 years later, this man's story would inspire the Bourne series, the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, the Bourne Ultimatum, and so on. These books and movies would go on to gross around $1.67 billion worldwide, proving that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are completely true. If you want to hear the full story, you can check it out on Horror at the Milk Bar. It's episode 94. It's called Who's Who, and it is streaming everywhere now, wherever you get your podcasts.